Joining me now from the spin room at the site of tonight's debate is Michael Tyler, Communications Director for the Harris campaign. Michael, thanks for joining me. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Happy debate day.
Well, happy debate day to you. It is a big moment. Let's talk about what the vice president needs to do. What do you think Vice President Harris needs to accomplish tonight to walk away feeling like she had a good night?
Yeah, well, listen, I think what tonight is going to be is really going to be one of the first times that the American people have the opportunity to see the stark choice that confronts us in this election. And for the vice president, it's an opportunity for her to lay out her vision for where she wants to take this country over the course of the next 4 years. The way that she wants to build an economy where folks have the opportunity not just to get by, but to get ahead, as she talks about, how we continue to stand up and protect women's reproductive rights, how we stand up for our democracy, and contrast that against Donald Trump's dark, dangerous, backwards-looking Project 2025 agenda. And so she will, of course, prosecute the case against Donald Trump and his candidacy and the threat that he poses. But it is also another opportunity to introduce herself to a wider swath of the electorate tonight. So we're excited about the opportunity that tonight presents. We're excited about the road ahead, leaving Philadelphia as we hit all the battleground states that are going to decide the pathway to 270 electoral votes.
Well, sources are telling my colleague Garrett Hake and our NBC News team that Trump's strategy tonight is going to be to target some of her 2020 positions that she's now distancing herself from. Of course, in that interview with CNN, she said that her values have not changed while some of her policy positions have changed. What is the strategy tonight? Does she need to more clearly explain how she got from point A to point B on some of these critical issues?
Yeah, well, again, I think she will absolutely talk about her vision for where she wants to take this country. I think you'll hear her talk about the record of accomplishment of which she's a part as Vice President of the United States, right? The work that she was able to do along with President Biden to find common sense solutions to make progress towards the goals that she has in mind and the work that she wants to do in the road ahead. That's why she's begun to lay out some of the planks of her policy agenda where she wants to take this country. She did so in Raleigh, where she talked about the work that she wants to do to lower costs for Americans. She did so last week in New Hampshire, where she talked about the work that she wants to do to spur small business growth in this country. And so she's proud of the work that we have already accomplished, and she's focused on the work that lies ahead to continue to accomplish our goals. I think as it relates to the debate tonight, what she will also do is not only talk about, the work that she wants to accomplish, but she will contrast that with Donald Trump. If you talk about policy positions, this man is a guy who's had 7 or 8 different positions on every single issue. But the problem in 2024 right now for the American people is that he has settled on the most extreme version of all of those positions on every issue that matters, whether it's abortion and the national ban that he wants to enact, or the economy and the tax cuts that he wants to give to the ultra-rich. The American people are going to have a very stark choice in this election.
But, Michael, just to be very clear about Vice President Harris's record, look, you have nearly a third of voters saying they need to know more about her. So just to the original question, does she need to get more specific about these policy changes that we've seen from her? Is it about specificity tonight?
Yeah, listen, I think what tonight will be about is, again, the vice president clearly articulating her vision for where she wants to take this country. We'll talk about the issues, whether it be health care. She'll talk about the work that she was able to accomplish as vice president, capping the cost of insulin at $35, capping out-of-pocket prescription drug costs for seniors at $2,000, building upon the Affordable Care Act, the work that she wants to do moving ahead, whether it is about all of the issues, right? She's not going to shy away from the record of accomplishment that she owns as vice president, but she's also equally going to articulate where we go from here, right? How do we continue to improve people's lives? And of course, contrast that against our opponent, who on every single issue is not offering solutions, is not offering anything that the American people actually want. What he is offering is a fundamental threat to our pocketbooks and to our way of life.
Michael, let me play you something that Senator Bernie Sanders said to me this weekend on Meet the Press. Take a look. You have described Vice President Kamala Harris as a progressive. She has previously supported Medicare for all. Now she does not. She's previously supported a ban on fracking. Now she does not. These, Senator, are ideas that you have campaigned on. Do you think that she is abandoning her progressive ideals?
No, I don't think she's abandoning her ideals. I think she's trying to be pragmatic and doing what she thinks is right in order to win the election.
What is your reaction to that? And you've, of course, seen the Trump campaign pounce on those comments to say it's an indication she could change back if you elect her.
Yeah, listen, I mean, my reaction to those comments are that the vice president is actually focused, as Senator Sanders said, on pragmatic solutions that actually improve people's lives. He mentioned health care. He mentioned energy and the climate crisis, right? Again, we talked about building on the Affordable Care Act, the work that she has actually done. The goal here is quality, affordable health care for all Americans. That's the work that she wants to continue to build upon. You talk about the climate crisis. She's proud of the fact that we have currently made the single largest investment in combating climate change, demonstrating that you can tackle the climate crisis while at the same time increasing American energy production, right? That is the work that she wants to continue to build upon. And I think for the voters in this election, they're not really concerned about, are you a progressive, are you conservative, are you moderate? It's about, what are you going to do for me? Are you going to fight on my behalf? Are you going to continue to offer solutions? I think on all of these issues, the vice president has been clear through her record of accomplishment and the vision that she is laying out that she is actually the candidate in this race who is offering that. And again, Donald Trump, he's not offering actual solutions. He's simply fighting for himself on the debate stage.
Do you believe she considers herself to be a progressive, Michael?
I think the vice president considers herself to be a fighter on behalf of the American people. I don't think she's concerned with labels whatsoever. I think she's actually concerned with solving the problems that confront working and middle-class families across this country. That's what she's articulated on this campaign, and that's exactly what she'll do when she's elected president of the United States. One
of the big questions, I think, that continues to loom over her campaign is, how would a Harris administration look different than a Biden administration? Now, she has rolled out some policy proposals, for example, obviously calling for a lower tax rate on some taxes than President Biden on the capital gains tax for top income earners. But going beyond that, how would you compare a Harris administration? And will we walk away from tonight, will voters walk away from tonight with a clearer understanding of how a Harris administration would differ from a Biden administration?
Yeah, listen, I touched on a little of this earlier, but again, I think she's proud of the record of accomplishment from this administration. I think what you have seen her begin to unveil is where she wants to take this country, right? She understands that many Americans are looking for a new way forward as it relates to the economy, right? That's why the first planks of her economic agenda were about how we continue to lower costs, right? Making sure that we can lower grocery costs, making sure that we can actually lower housing costs through incentivizing more development of housing, but also making sure that we provide first-time homebuyer assistance, rental assistance. You mentioned the small business plan, right? How do we make sure that we can actually, at the same time, make sure that the wealthy are paying their fair share, but also make sure that we have a tax code that allows entrepreneurs to get ahead here, right? Making sure that we can actually incentivize the tax system to not stifle business growth, but to actually support it. Making sure that, again, the $5,000 startup deduction, we increase that to $50,000, given that it takes about $40,000 on average to start a new business. You're going to continue to see her lay out her vision for where she actually wants to take this country. I think that does stand in contrast to Donald Trump, who is not offering any new ideas. You look at what's in his economic agenda for Project 2025. It is simply a return to the tax cuts for the ultra-wealthy, a return to the giveaways for powerful corporations. You have people like Moody's saying that, you know, his economic policies would be another inflation bomb. You have economists saying that it would likely spur another recession in 2025. I think the economic contrast on where they want to take this country is becoming clearer and clearer by the day.
All right, Michael Tyler, I know it's a long day and night. Thank you for making some time for us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.